we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
Does that sound fine?
What's the Paquin myth?
Can you hear that in the background?
Did I hear what?
Hang on a sec. Okay, I just had to mute it. It's cool. Okay.
But
All right.
but you fucked it up, so we have that for the episode.
Yeah. Well, I did, but okay, whatever. I'll keep it. Anyway, welcome back to the Moonjuice Metal Horror Podcast where we live and breathe heavy metal and horror, but aren't afraid to shit all over them. And by the way, we are not going to shit all over the film that we're doing today. So, warning, if you're here to watch this bitch about a movie and destroy it like we did the Alien Earth series and the last movie we did, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we destroyed Friday the 13th too. It was just there's a lot you could complain about, you know. And we
didn't destroy it, but
I would say we destroyed it or bashed it, but we definitely bashed Alien Earth. Alien Earth. If you want to see us just go watch Alien Earth, we bashed that entire show to oblivion from our point of view. Yeah.
Smithereens.
Yeah.
Alien Earth didn't stand a chance, but I mean that's probably also the first one, Mike, that we didn't even make it all the way through. Like we got to the last episode of the season, and we're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, it was always even I think when we were halfway through, we always also got stupid fucking bored because it's stupid. I mean, it's just the entire writing of the show is insanely fucking stupid, and it's bad. It totally killed the Alien franchise for me. And the only thing I might return to the Alien franchise is if they actually ever bring out Alien Isolation 2. Either than that, this for me, I mean, personally for me, it killed the Alien franchise for me. The Alien franchise is dead.
Yeah.
And that's because of Alien Earth. But if you want to know more about that, just watch our episode on Alien Earth. And if you like our podcast in general, don't forget to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube and Spotify.
Eventually, we'll get out to other platforms too. It's just right now, we're still within the first year of doing this. So we'll probably just keep the main two and then spread out to the rest later. But I mean, it's working pretty good on both these platforms. People seem to enjoy it. So, I mean,
yeah.
No point in branching out just yet. So we are in the Halloween season, right? So this is the first time on this podcast that we've hit Halloween. We've decided to do a few different hand-selected movies that are Halloween themed, and we felt like we would be extremely remiss if we didn't do this movie. And there's a good reason for that. This movie, when you talk about Halloween movies, there's different ways you can do them. Like you've got Halloween, the movie, John Carpenter, which is a staple. And then you've got a whole bunch of different horror anthologies, right? There's been horror movie anthologies since early 80s.
Mhm.
And this one right here tops them all off. This one right here is the Halloween anthology movie. There's not one better, in my opinion, right? And I think you agree too, Mike.
This is the best Halloween-themed horror movie, and it is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. No. Yeah, because what the movie does absolutely brilliantly is what a lot of other shows, movies, stories try to do but fail at is this movie has more characters in it than the majority of any other horror movie or movie in general. It has 5 or 6 entirely different plot lines that run into each other that happen at different times. And still, it's not confusing, and it's very easy to follow the story. What makes it brilliant?
Yeah, even more so, I think all of the stories are kind of one of the things that these horror anthologies do, and maybe a good example of that would be like All Hallows Eve, right? So you have different stories that are kind of disconnected. Some of them might not happen in the same universe, and there's not one character that ties them all together, right? This movie, just like Mike said, It's different stories. They all happen in the same night, basically in the same town. They're all intertwined together where they happen simultaneously. And then you also have a figure that appears in all the stories. So he's kind of the central character and the theme of the entire movie placed into every individual story that happens here. And it's done really well because you're not really sure what to think of this character at first. Like, because you're not
Yeah.
really introduced to him until later. And at that time, you realize what he's done in the opening scene. But he ties everything together, and it's just brilliant. Like, I've seen this movie 4 different times, and each time, as me and Mike talked about, we started the podcast, there are things that we noticed this time around that we did not notice every other time. So it's one of those things that if you watch it again and again and again, you'll pick up on things that you didn't pick up the first 3 times or the first 4 times. And so now
Yeah.
with this one, there's something I picked up on that I didn't realize. I'll bring that up later. Anyway,
Yeah.
so what is this glorious movie we're doing?
It's Trick or Treat from 2007. I mean, there you have to admit there's also one made in the 80s, but that's not the one we're doing. We're doing the one from 2007. Yeah, brilliant movie.
Before we get started, Mike, do you wanna show everybody the blood that you're covered in for some strange reason?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First, yeah, I'm covered in blood about here. You can see in my neck, and on my hand. Well, the reason is pretty simple. Halloween starts next weekend, and yesterday evening we had a grand rehearsal at Halloween Burg Königstein, or Halloween Frankenstein Castle. Is now at a different venue. And I just woke up this morning, watched the movie, and then started working on a thumbnail. And I have so far not had the time to shower, so that's why I still have half of the zombie. I think I have a little bit up in my ear right here, some of the zombie makeup.
Yeah, you
And I'm still
your
half
ear, your neck, and your hands.
Yeah, I'm still way half covered in fake blood.
This is kind of one of those things too, like if you work up there, like I did the last, I think it was like 9 years, and then I'm not doing this year, but Mike is, you tend to come home with a little bit of blood still left on you. And even when you take a shower, it doesn't completely go away. So you might be walking around the next day with blood on your arms or whatever. And somebody would be like, "Hey, what is that right there?" And you're like, "Oh, no, it's cool. It's not real blood. I'm not a serial killer or anything like that. I just work at Castle Frankenstein Halloween, now Burg Königstein."
Funny story. This is a real funny story.
Okay.
It was, I think, 5 or 6 years ago.
Mhm.
I was relatively new as an actor at Frankenstein Castle, but I've already worked there. But relatively new,
Yeah.
Either than now. I was already there as an actor for 3 or 4 years. This year is my 10th year, and I think I usually take vacation every time around Halloween because of the event. And I think one day after Halloween, I had like my entire costume, my makeup, and the fake blood. I threw it on the back seat, and just totally fucking forgot it. And I think after the weekend on a Tuesday night, I was visiting a friend, and we ordered pizza and watched a movie or two, and then I drove home, and I got stopped by the cops. Hilarious because because the cops just wanted, we were stopped because just routine control. And the cop looks in my back seat and sees clothes covered in blood. See me. The cops were first like, I mean, I'm glad that we're living in Germany because the cops compared to the States here in Germany are super nice. The one cop is like, sir, you know what's in the back of your seat. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally know that. I was acting like it was totally fucking normal.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
And he said, it was like, could you maybe get out of your car and somehow explain this? Of course, I got out of the car and I just basically explained the situation to them. That's Halloween at the time, and I work as an actor at this Halloween event, and I play a zombie. And the clothes he sees is just my zombie costume. The blood is fake and everything. I showed him my makeup. I showed him all the fake blood I had with me. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they started laughing. And then they just gave me back my driver's license and said, happy Halloween. Have fun next weekend. That's how the cops said. But it was a funny situation. Yeah.
Had that been in America, Mike, it would have been a very different story.
Yeah.
The cops just arrest you and ask questions later. Like, if you're driving around in a car with like blood everywhere or like an axe covered in blood, which was my costume as well. Thankfully, I've never been pulled over by the police. But had that been in the States, you'd have been thrown in the slammer pretty quick and then had to explain yourself. But the thing is, here in Germany, Halloween is not really a thing like it is in the States. It's becoming that way, but it's nowhere near like the
Yeah.
States. Thankfully, we live close to the event at Castle Frankenstein and Castle Königstein. So most people in this state know what's going on and they believe you if you said something. But if that castle wasn't going on, Mike, there's a good chance you would have gotten arrested there too.
Nah, I mean,
You
not
don't
at
think
the
so?
point. If I, no, I don't think so. Not if I show them makeup and fake blood and everything. I don't think so. It's not like you can explain it logically or what, So yeah.
Yeah. Plus, we also have police that are that actually work up there that are horror actors as well. So it would
That's
also
funny.
be really easy to call one of them and be like, "Hey, can you please tell your buddy that I'm not a serial killer?"
Yeah. There's also something, where's my handy? Yeah, because, what we have not been doing much, Matt, is talking about metal,
Yeah.
what we actually wanted to do. No? And yeah, but there's something I just shortly figured out. No? Do you know what bands released albums in the same year this movie came out?
No.
Machine Head, Megadeth, the Dillinger Escape Plan, and the Black Dahlia Murder all released albums in the same year this movie came out. Machine Head was
No shit.
Yeah, the Blackening Machine Head brought out, no? The Dillinger Escape Plan, Fireworks, the Black Dahlia Murder released their album Nocturnal, and Megadeth released did I say Megadeth? Yes, United Abominations, and even Avenged Sevenfold released their self-titled album this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Back when Avenged Sevenfold was good, right?
What do you mean?
Back when Avenged Sevenfold was good.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'll edit that out. We don't want to trash other bands.
Yeah, so far.
I was never much of a fan, but I mean, to each their own, I know Megadeth's United Abominations because I listened to that album over and over and over again. That was a fucking great album from Megadeth. Probably one of the best ones they've put out since Countdown to Extinction.
Yeah.
The Black Dahlia Murder, I want to say Nocturnal is their first album. No, Miasma is their first album. Nocturne was like album 2, but I love those guys. And Rip to the lead singer, man, those guys were great.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I never really cared about. Funny to mention, not one of their songs, any of those bands show up in this film. However, there is one metal song. I just don't know who it is.
Oh, yeah, right. Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson is in it. He's in the werewolf transformations.
Yeah, so not metal.
Yeah, but not metal.
Yeah, he's in the werewolf transformation. Not metal, but still.
Yeah.
This movie, the one thing that I maybe could criticize a little bit, right? Which I don't really have any criticisms of this movie. Like I said, like it is from start to finish a masterpiece of a horror film for Halloween. But maybe the soundtrack was not all that enthralling. Usually I can watch a horror movie, and be like, okay, if it's an 80s soundtrack, then it's usually just synth anyway. It's not really anything special. But once you kind of reach over into the 2000s, you start to get like rock and horror in horror movies. This one didn't really have too much of a soundtrack that stuck out. And maybe that's the only criticism I have. But maybe it just didn't call for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably, maybe.
But
that's
but either way, that's a very small gripe.
Yeah, but
compared to the whole film.
That's true. And I still haven't gotten into the cast because
No, I was about to ask you to do that because I want to know who the main female character is here at the beginning.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know her. This is crazy because there are so many actors in this movie. That's like this.
I know.
I mean, God damn it.
It's a star-studded cast.
Yeah, this is not like characters where you could say they're like unmeaning side characters. No, this movie is filled with characters. Okay, well, I think the girl that gets killed in the beginning, her name, the actress name is Leslie Bibb. She plays Emma.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
And her
That's it.
boyfriend
I couldn't remember her
is
name, but I've
played-
seen her in so much stuff.
her boyfriend is played by the actor Tamaha Penniket. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He plays Henry. And those are like the first two people we're going to see in the movie. Then we have Quinn Lord that plays Sam, or in other regions, you probably watched this movie, known as Peeping Tommy, either the main, killer.
Right.
Then we have Anna Paquin, the actress we all know from
Famous.
What?
Famous. Yeah, famous.
Famous. I mean, everybody knows her from either True Blood or as a rogue from X-Men.
From X-Men, yeah.
Exactly. We have Dylan Baker that plays Steven. Brian Cox that plays Mr. Craig, or the evil truck driver, or the bus driver.
Awesome actor. Yeah.
And this is crazy because this story has multiple storylines. That's why I'm bringing up Dylan Baker and Brian Cox, because their storylines are very strongly interconnected. Then we have the werewolf girls. Rachel Atis plays Maria. Monica Delane plays Jeanette. And Lauren Lee Smith plays Danielle. And Anna Paquin belongs to them because she's belongs to their werewolf pack. Okay, then I'm going to try to get into the third storyline. It starts with, I think, oh my fucking God. I'm sorry, dude. It's
a huge movie.
God, which one? Okay. We have then the other characters. They're like these group of kids that are collecting pumpkins because they want to do something at this old cliff where there's a legend about it, about a lot of kids getting killed in a bus. And okay, what I can remember from that storyline is Sam Todd. She is the girl that plays Rhonda. She's like this little awkward, cute girl. And then we have, I think, Jean-Luc Billodea. He's from that storyline too, as well. By the others, it's really hard to tell because it's been years so far. Brett, it's getting a little bit too complicated, so now I'm just going to go through them. Okay, we have Brett Kelly playing Charlie. Alberto Gissi playing Chip. That's the asshole kid smashing the pumpkins, gets killed anyway. We have Britt Mickalip that plays Macy. Isabella DeLuce plays Sarah. Patrick Gilmore, who plays Bud the Cammer. Connor Christopher, who plays Billy. C. Ernest Harth, who plays Giant Baby. That's what it's listed here. Juan Carlos Villis playing the Conquistador. What? Conquistador. Gerald Patz playing Mr. Craig something else. One of the kids, the zombie kids. You're going to love who this character is actually played by, but I'm going to get him later, no? Matthew Kevin Anderson, who plays Clark. Jesse Haddock, who literally just listed as teenager. Laura Manel plays Allie. Esterla, who plays Party Girl, number 3. How these characters are titled is funny. Barbara Cotamir, who plays Centaur Girl. Wanda Alia plays Party Girl 2. Okay, Christine Wiles plays a swinger old lady. Mrs. Henderson. You probably know what scene I'm talking about, Matt.
Yeah.
Catherine Barrell, who plays Mother, fine. Carolyn Redicop, who plays Reporter. Derek MacGyver, who plays Centauri Guy. Troy Everett, Bud's assistant. Vladimir Gerasimov, Veronica Sarkisova, and Lauren Lee. So, now, you remember from the bus scene.
Okay.
The kids that become the zombie kids. There's a vampire kid that's Dracula. Right. That is like wrong way. I did not know this until I looked this up. Yeah. But the actor who plays that is Richard Hammond, who plays the metalhead in Final Destination 6 Bloodlines.
No shit. Okay.
That actor. He plays the vampire kid in this movie. I also did not know that.
This guy, I mean, you wouldn't. You'd have to look at the cast because most of the time when you see that kid with his vampire costume on, you see him with a mask on. You don't even see his face. And even then, this movie is 20 years before Final Destination Bloodlines came out.
Yeah, so, I know.
he doesn't even look like him anymore.
Yeah,
You know?
don't. I mean, because he has a very, I would say, markant face. Huh? Even back in the days, because he played even when he was younger. You know, when he was you could still recognize the guy because he has a very recognizable face. I would say this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting though. Okay, so that guy's prone to doing horror movies.
Yeah.
That's good. Like horror's got this thing where there are actors who will only do horror movies, and every once in a while they'll branch out and do something else, or they started doing horror movies. By the way, did you know there's an actor that a lot of people know that they have no idea that this guy started in horror? You know who that is? Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
His first movie was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's been one of those that wanted to return to horror because he's actually a really big horror fan, just like Nicolas Cage is,
Yeah.
but didn't get cast in horror films after that. But still acknowledges Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is one of the movies he really enjoyed doing. I like Matthew McConaughey, man. It's hard to hate that guy.
Mhm.
His brother, I don't know if you knew this, his brother is Woody Harrelson. This just recently came out.
I did not know that they were brothers.
They're
No,
brothers.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
They did not talk about it. Nobody has talked about it. It's been kind of a Hollywood secret, but those two guys are brothers. And Woody Harrelson's been in a shit ton of great horror comedy films.
I love Woody Harrelson. I mean, one of the best movies
Yeah,
I
Woody
loved
Harrelson's
him
great.
in was Kingpin. That movie is so hilarious.
Yes,
I love that movie.
that movie's great. Also, Zombieland. You can't
Yes.
for Woody Harrelson humor, you can't really do much better than Zombieland 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Woody Harrelson
No.
is he's known for doing comedies, and it's just I love him. I love that guy. So far, every movie he's in is just I kind of the way I felt like every movie was good just for him being in it. even in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that
like,
just if you put him in a movie, it's gonna do well.
Yeah. So yeah, but we haven't gotten to the movie yet.
No, it's okay. I figure we just talk because that's what we do anyway. But I digress. This movie starts off not really holding any punches. I will say that. Like when I first saw this movie, I didn't see it in the theater. It came out and people were talking about it. And I looked at a few previews and didn't really read any reviews. And I was like, oh, this looks like a kid's movie, man.
Yeah.
You know? So I didn't see it for a few years. And then finally I watched it. Stupid that I didn't watch it sooner because this is a horror film. This thing does not hold any punches at the beginning, and it just continues straight through. It's not a kid's movie at all. First scene, you get this husband and wife. These are the two characters that we get introduced to at the beginning of the movie, right? And it's Halloween night. They're coming back from partying on the town. They're both drunk. She's in this big fucking stupid robot costume
that she hates. And it's like because this wife, the wife says multiple times she hates Halloween. She does not like Halloween at all, but she's just doing it for her husband because he's a major.
She's doing it for her husband, and this guy's into it, man. He fucking loves Halloween. He also gets onto her because the first thing that she does, and this becomes important later. First thing she does is starts blowing out the pumpkins, right? And he remarks and says, "Well, that's not right. You shouldn't do that. You're supposed to leave the pumpkins lit." And she's like, "Look, I'm lit. You're lit. In other words, we're drunk and we need to go to bed and I'm blowing this pumpkin out." So she blows the pumpkin out and we get like this kind of harrowing music that kind of lets you know that that wasn't the smartest idea. He's like, it's part of the tradition to leave your pumpkin burning. You don't want to snuff the lights out before Halloween's over. That's not good. She's like, yeah, whatever. Let's go upstairs. So they go to the front porch and you get the feeling like this guy, he's a little drunk and a little bit horny, right? He's staring at her ass. And she's like, oh, God, what do you want? He's like, well, she's like, okay, well, I got to clean up these Halloween decorations. So you go upstairs and put the videotape in the machine, right? Obviously we know what type of videotape this is. Anyway, so this dumbass goes upstairs, puts the videotape in and falls asleep. Good job, dude. Good job.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They had a short discussion because she wanted to clean up and he was horny or whatever. And she was like, no, we gotta clean this up and go to bed because we're gonna do it now because you're probably gonna sleep tomorrow until 12. Nah?
And then play video games until 4.
That was kind
Yeah.
of like a very we've all had this discussion with our girlfriends or wives or ex-girlfriends.
Yes. I'm gonna sleep it off and then get up and play video games until 4:00, and I'm not cleaning up the Halloween decorations. No, I get it. But she's like, she wants to be done with this shit. She wants to put the decorations away. So
Yeah.
she sends him upstairs. She goes out in the yard, and the yard is full of like ghost props, right? It's basically like crosses that are put up, and then they drape sheets over it to look like ghosts. The whole yard's full of it. It's actually pretty cool decorations. There's like limbs and body parts hanging from strings that are fake. She starts taking stuff down, and she gets kind of an uneasy feeling really quick because there's a dude that's across the street who's in like it's not a Jason mask, but it's like a white mask with a hood on.
Yeah.
And he just appears to be staring at her, right? This makes her really uneasy, and the guy just keeps staring, and you kind of get some ominous music. And then he gets in a car and goes away. So she realizes she was worried for no reason at all. She continues to take the sheets off the ghosts, and then all of a sudden she takes the sheet off of one ghost, and the sheet basically explodes in front of her, and we get like this evil laugh and this kind of like a child giggling.
Yeah.
And the sheet covers her, and she falls on the ground, and there's kids that are walking by on the street. They're still trick-or-treating, you know? She lands on the street with the sheet over the top of her head, and whatever is in the sheet with her that's attacking her has like a sucker, like a lollipop that's been bitten into and has jagged edges. And you see whatever this thing is stab her with the lollipop, and from the outside of the sheet, you see the sheet get filled with blood. Right? Like she got stabbed. Immediately, these kids take off running because it scares the shit out of them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the last you see of her. Flash to the husband upstairs. He wakes up because the videotape is done running. He's like, "Where's my wife?" Goes downstairs out to the yard, realizes that all the decorations are mysteriously still up.
Yeah.
This guy must still be a little drunk because I think I would have noticed that the limbs and body parts that are hanging from the tree were not the ones that I hung up.
Yeah.
But because they're obviously like a woman's arm, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just kind of staring at them hanging from the tree like, "Oh, that's weird. I don't remember putting those up."
Yeah.
And then a light comes on underneath one of the sheets that's on the ghosts in the yard. He obviously finds that odd, goes over there and pulls the sheet off. When he pulls the sheet off, he realizes it's the dead body of his wife. We don't get a full look at what's been done to this woman. The only thing we see is her face. And her face is like stuck in this like frozen moment of horror
Yeah.
with the sucker jammed into her mouth, like all
Yeah.
the way into her mouth.
Yeah.
And that's the start of your movie. So this movie didn't waste any time with its first kill. The thing is, we don't know who killed this woman. Not yet. All we know is that she's dead, and
I mean,
you get the music that kind of starts the opening credits.
Yeah, well, sorry, it just says that opening credits where you have like this montage with all these comic shit, going on and be pretty what it was. The killer we know, I mean, in the movie, throughout the movie, you could probably pull everything together who this killer is, but it's not actually fully confirmed until the end because all that makes this movie brilliant, this same beginning is also the ending because the ending is going to lead directly into this situation, what is also extremely brilliant.
Yes. Yeah. Everything kind of comes full circle at the end. And like you said, it's a credit to the story writing and the way that they filmed it. Like, did we say who the director was? Because I think this is a big name director.
Yes. Wait. No, we didn't say who.
I can't remember his name, but
the director was Michael Daugherty. Is who the
okay
director was. And also, it's crazy. This movie only had a budget of $12 million.
Holy shit!
Really?
That's nothing.
That's nothing, and it's actually astonishing that they managed to pull all of these things off because, I mean, there is very little CGI in it. The majority of it is all practical effects. I mean,
I
the
don't think there's
werewolf
any.
transformation. I don't remember. I don't think so, but it's brilliant. I mean, it's the zombie effects in this movie are brilliant. The werewolf transformations are really fucking
Excellent.
good. Yeah, this is
Excellent.
like, but also what they also nailed in this movie with the werewolf transformations, you have like multiple. These are like 20, 30 werewolves out of them, around that number.
Yeah.
Not all transforming at the same time. And that's what and it still does brilliantly, because in a lot of movies, when you have like werewolf movies, when you have multiple werewolves, and they show the transformation of multiple werewolves, it's always kind of, no, it does not really feel good, no. But
Yeah.
this one specifically is brilliantly done, no. It's brilliantly,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's also
There's a lot of reasons for that too,
yes, and
for why it's so good.
yeah, I mean, it's actually, this is a movie where it's kind of difficult to go through it scene by scene, as we do usually, because this movie has,
Yeah.
I would count up like 4 or 5 entirely different plot lines that are all, just like you said, come circle, are all interconnected. What makes it difficult to talk about these storylines individually, because you have like, the main storyline is it's Halloween night, and you have this Halloween parade. And a lot of these characters are going to be connected to this Halloween parade to a certain degree. But then a lot of things is going to happen outside of it. I think the next major plot line we get into is the one of Steve Wilkins and his kid. Remember that one?
Yep, I do. This one's the one that intrigues me a lot, because you're going to see this character throughout the movie. And you're not really sure what his deal is, but you have to remember, kind of like Mike said, everything that you see is not actually happening in real time, and you're going to circle back to that story, right? So the first thing you get before you see the guy, which his name's Mike, right? Is it Mike?
Steve.
Okay. First thing that you get before you see Steve is kind of this town. And I love this, Mike, because the idea of Halloween is very romanticized in the United States. Like, if you don't live in the United States, it's really hard to explain what Halloween is, but it's kind of a catch-all holiday where people just use it as an excuse to party like crazy, to dress up, to do everything that you want to do, but is socially kind of unacceptable to do in normal times. This town and the opening of this movie makes me want to find this town and go there for Halloween, because this town is just insane.
Yeah.
It is decorated to the hilt. There's lights everywhere. There's music playing. There's people in costumes. There's a whole street festival and a parade. It looks cool as hell. I want to go here for Halloween, like really bad. During all this chaos, what you get is you don't know who the character is, but you see a person walking, and he's dragging like a big dirty bag of Halloween candy behind him. And it's like hitting the street and bumping along and bumping along. And then right after you get that, you meet the werewolf girls. And we kind of gave it away calling them werewolf girls, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Right. So at this point, you don't really know that they're werewolf girls. All it looks like is that there's 4 girls. They're all decent looking, and they're all going into a costume shop to try on different clothes, right? They're trying on princess costumes, Brothers Grimm female costumes, stuff like that, because and what you think
Disney princesses
is that, say what?
They're dressing up as Disney princesses.
Yeah, Disney princesses. What this feels like is your typical young girl Halloween thing that every guy in the United States kind of rolls his eyes at, right? So you go out and you find something that's a little bit scary, and then you make it sexy, right? And that's Halloween costumes in the United States. And so that's what they're doing. They're going to the store to try on different costumes and pick them out. One of the girls, Anna Paquin's character, I cannot remember her name, but she seems very unsure about being out with these girls for some reason. And you don't really know why. She's hesitant to put on a costume. She's hesitant to pick out a costume. They're all already dressed, and they step out of the dressing room, and she's still in the dressing room. And they're like, "Hey, time's ticking. What are you doing? Come on out." She's like, "No." And basically they have to make her come out of the dressing room. But when she comes out...
Actually, the reason why she does not feel very comfortable around these girls, to me, is actually pretty fucking obvious, because they're all these typical party girls that are going out, wanting to get laid or whatever, and she's not really that type of person. That is basically it. Her older sister is pressuring her into, no, you have to more go for it. You can't wait until they come to you and blah, blah, blah. And it's that type of behavior clearly might, because if you look at her, she's clearly not, she doesn't seem that type of a person that's that much into it. And that's obviously why she feels uncomfortable. And I'm going to be honest, the other three, her older sister is like, yeah, okay. She seems to be at least kind of a nice person. But the other two girls, those are just people I also don't want to be around. Even when I was younger, without partying, I never really wanted to have anything to do with girls like that. Not necessarily that I see them as bad people, but I obviously know I wouldn't get along with them.
Yeah, right. But this is your typical Halloween crowd. And I think that's what's brilliant is that this movie plays off of a trope that a lot of people don't like. And that's young girls dressing up in slutty outfits on Halloween and going to find guys to make out with. And that's what this appears to be. So if you're watching this movie and you've lived until like your maybe mid-20s, you know what this is, and you're kind of rolling your eyes. You're like, oh, here we go again. That's not what it is. And that's what is brilliant about this, is it makes you think one thing and turns out to be something different, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, she's very reluctant to go out with these girls, and you think it's because she's not really much of a partier, and you think that she's really not down with this behavior, whatever. That's not it. She's nervous for a different reason. So she comes out of the dressing room and she's dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, old caption in German. And they're like, okay, yeah, good. So let's get this party started. She's not into it at all. She's not interested. The first thing that they do is go to the front to pay for their costumes. And her older sister immediately hits on the guy behind the counter. Immediately. She's like, hey, what are you doing later tonight? By the way, do you know where this place is? Because you could meet me there afterwards if you want to. Of course, he's a dumb guy. So he's like, yeah, sure. Just give me the address, whatever. So she gives him the address.
I mean,
you think these girls are out to just find guys to get laid.
Of course. I mean, this is like, but this is a situation, let's be honest. What would you have answered if you were this guy? You have like this pretty girl, give me pretty eyes. I'm going to be honest. I guarantee you the most guys would say, oh yeah. I mean,
maybe. I think maybe.
In that age, when you have young guys,
most guys
between
would
between 15 and 25. It does not necessarily mean this guy is stupid, but he's probably at work, probably pissed off because he has to work on Halloween. He has a very hot girl that approaches him, obviously is hitting on him, and like, hey, would you like to meet later on there? I don't think the majority of straight guys would say no. I'm gonna be honest.
The majority of straight guys wouldn't have, but by the age of 25, I would have been like, nah, no thanks. And the reason is, Mike, she's gonna be, if she's a normal girl, which she's not, but we don't know that yet. If she's a normal girl, she's gonna be tanked, crying, and throwing up on her own shoes by 12 o'clock. And I don't want to play babysitter. That's immediately what I would be thinking if I were him. Like, no thanks. No, I'll go for somebody else that is not going to be tanked, crying in a corner, puking on their shoes at 12 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I get it. Most guys would, and he does. He takes the bait, right? Yeah. These girls leave the store, and then we're back to following the person that's dragging this fucking nasty bag of candy everywhere, right? Yeah. And I kind of did a double take the first time I saw this, because one of my other favorite movies, and it's a Christmas movie, is Bad Santa. Did you ever see Bad Santa?
Yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Great fucking movie. Extremely irreverent and dirty and nasty and hilarious. But this kid is the same actor that's in that movie, and he always plays kind of a short, overweight kid who's kind of goofy looking. And that's exactly what this kid is. He's short, overweight, and kind of goofy looking. And he walks up to this house where there's candy on the porch. There's a sign on the front door that says, sorry, we're not home, but please take a piece of candy. Of course, this kid, when he reads that, is like, well, fuck it, I'll just take it all.
The thing that happens before that, you see him walking over the fence and breaking all of the jack-lanterns, by hitting him off the fence.
That's right. I forgot about that. He's kind of a dick. He's just walking by, knocking jack-lanterns off people's fences. Yeah. He's kind of a jerk. I wasn't sad that he gets what's coming to him, honestly.
Yeah. No, not really.
Not in the spirit of Halloween. He's just out to eat candy. But he goes to this house and starts taking like handfuls of candy and putting it in his bag.
Mhm.
This is where we get our first introduction to Steve, who is a very normal looking father type guy. He's wearing a white shirt, button
Yeah.
down, has glasses, short hair, kind of looks like the business type guy, you know. And he's like, what does he say? He looks up at the kid and he's like, "Hey, I don't think that's good for your diabetes there, buddy." It's just shoveling fucking candy into his bag. I don't think that's good for your diabetes. Kid turns around and he's like, "It's okay. You know what? It's fine. Go. I brought more candy, so just take all you want. Put it in your bag." So the
Mhm.
kid puts all the candy in his bag. The guy sits down next to him, and you're not really sure what to think about this guy. Like, what did you think about this guy at first, Mike?
I thought it was weird. Straight up
Yeah.
to begin with. First time I saw this guy, it was like, yeah, this guy was just super fucking weird to me. Now because he sits down with his kid now, gives the kid some candy, and then picks up a knife and starts cutting out another jack-o'-lantern. And it's like,
Yeah.
the things he's saying with the kid sitting next to him eating candy is like, it's super weird because he's telling me about the backstory of Halloween, how it used to be, how it is now, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this is something no kid is
Yeah.
going to be interested in. And I mean, you don't have to be very experienced with kids, but it's just like, obviously, no kid is going to be interested in this fucking shit that he's telling him. It's just like, either this guy is super awkward and has zero social skills. I mean, less social skills than I do. Or he's just a complete fucking psychopath or creep or something like that. That's how he came across me. And it turns out that's exactly what it is. Because shortly after that, you see the
Yeah.
fat kid starting to throw up. And he just said, "You should have checked your candy." He obviously poisoned the candy. Yeah. And
Yeah.
no. And then, of course, the kid starts puking up whatever and then falls dead onto his lap. And then he starts dragging him back into the room.
It's
into the
Yeah.
to the house. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So we know that this guy is not normal and has kind of some sinister intentions. Obviously, he's now got blood. It's funny too because he has to pick this kid up. This kid is not a light kid. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say this kid might be 12 years old, but he looks like he weighs 120 pounds. A big kid, right? So he picks him up, and as he's picking him up, bringing him into the house, the kid is still throwing up, like all over his shirt. He's wearing a white shirt. So there's blood like all over his shoulder, all over his chest. Once he gets this hulking kid into the house, the doorbell rings again outside, right? So he's like, fuck. So he just drops the kid and then walks to the front door, and there's trick-or-treaters outside, and this is where we're introduced to some kids that we're going to see later, right? These kids are the ones that are in the bus scene later from the quarry, right? They're standing at the door. He's standing at the door. Of course, it's Halloween. It's Halloween, and he's covered in blood, so this is not completely weird. So the kids immediately look at him, and they're like, "Nice costume."
Mm-hmm.
You know, covered in blood from top to bottom. He gives them candy, sends them on their way, but not before we get our first look at the main antagonist, who is standing right behind them when they walk away. And this is
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
now I remember that.
This
because
is why I
all the
brought
kids
this up,
off and
because this is the first time that you see Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, because Sam's standing there and he was just like, you didn't get anything? Then Sam takes candy out of it and then leaves. Well, by the way, at this time, you see, like, there's something super weird about this kid. When I saw him to begin with, it's like, because not was he standing beneath these kids, it was like he just appeared once they were away.
Appeared behind them.
Yeah, you did not see him in any kind of way.
Yeah,
and
he just appears behind
not
them.
really that short that you wouldn't have seen. Yeah, that he wouldn't have seen behind this kid. Just once he just appears there. That would, even when I saw it the first time, and of course after I seen it multiple times, every time was kind of gave it off that he's not normal. This kid.
Yeah,
and that was very.
Of course,
I did not even think he was a kid when I saw this movie the first time. I thought he was some kind of a monster.
I would have thought he was something a little bit supernatural when I saw that, but at the same time, he's probably the most non-threatening looking little creature out of anybody in this movie, and I think that I think that fact alone makes it so much more interesting, because the thought of getting attacked by this little thing is not scary. It's not scary at all. He's cute.
No.
I mean, he looks like a fucking toddler
Yeah, he's cute.
in an oversized costume.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Sam gets his piece of candy. Sam turns around and walks off. That's the first time we see him. We flash back to the dad, Steve. Steve is taking the body of the rotund child out into the yard where he's already got a grave dug, right?
Yeah.
So this is also your second hint to the fact that this guy is actually a deranged serial killer. Because he's already got the grave dug in the backyard. He knew what he was doing. The thing is, I don't really get, other than the thrill of maybe poisoning the kid, what he gets out of this, because all he's doing is taking him to the backyard and burying him. Most serial
No,
killers,
because
when they do stuff like this,
Yeah.
there's kind of like a whole thing that they go through that stimulates them in some way. You know, whether it's to cut up
Right.
the body or to pose the body or something like that.
But
This guy just takes the body to the backyard and starts burying.
no, he doesn't do, because it comes out later at the end of this short storyline.
Ah, right. You're
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that. Okay. So this guy could be a very proficient serial killer if it wasn't Halloween, right? It seems like everything is going wrong for this guy, and he seems irritated the whole time he's having to bury this body because the fucking neighbor and the neighbor's dog won't leave him alone the whole time that he's doing this. So he's out in the yard trying to bury this kid, who, by the way, we find out is not completely dead. This is actually kind of a brutal scene because
even
the
though
kid is kind of
even though this is also makes it a kind of a little bit weird, because at the end of this plot line, what actually comes out, what he did to this kid, it was always comes across that there's something supernatural entirely going on in this city. You know what I'm talking about, no? Yeah.
yeah. But you think maybe there's something up with the kid that he's burying. There's
Yeah.
something supernatural might be going on. But what's really going on is he's not dead yet. And so the kid is in the bottom of the grave. He's got a shovel on the kid's body while his neighbor, who we're going to find out who this guy is later, is screaming at his dog for barking in the yard. And the dog is barking and making noise because for Steve to get rid of the dog, to get the dog to leave him alone so he can bury this kid, he has to cut off the kid's finger and feed it to the dog. So that's what he does. He takes a shovel, he cuts off the kid's finger, and he feeds it to the dog. The dog kind of goes away and leaves him alone so he can finish burying the kid. And the dog is making so much noise outside that his neighbor comes outside, screams at the dog, and then screams at Steve and is like, why are you making all that goddamn noise and it stinks out here, right?
Yeah.
What he smells is all the dead bodies that are in this guy's backyard. Because I'm sure this guy's got body parts laying around in the
Probably, yeah.
backyard, right? We don't see that, but we know the guy's yard stinks. So the neighbor walks out and he's like, yes, this whole place smells like a dead whore. And he's like, Steve is like, no, it's not. Yeah, sorry, the septic tank backed up. You know, that's what the smell is. I'm trying to fix it right now. And he's like, well, hurry up and fix it and quit making all that damn noise and keep your stupid kid out of my yard. Right. And so the neighbor goes back in and he continues burying this kid. The whole time this is going on, his son is screaming at him from the windows upstairs. I'm not a parent. Mike, you're not a parent, but I mean, we know a lot of people with kids, and I'm pretty sure this is exactly how it is. Right?
Yeah.
When you're trying to
Yeah,
do something
yeah.
important that you like. So he's down there trying to bury this kid. The whole time his son is screaming at him from the top window. And this is a cute kid. Like he's probably like maybe 4, maybe 4,
Nah,
5 at the oldest.
nah. He's way
No,
older
you don't
than
think
that.
so? Maybe 3?
No, this kid is already around 7, 8. He's not 4 or 5. No, he's way
Okay.
older. This is
I don't know. I don't have kids, so
This is a
I'm horrible at judging these
kid
things.
that definitely already goes to kindergarten. Yeah.
Okay. So the kid keeps screaming at him and it's like, Daddy, I want to play. Daddy, I want to cut the pumpkin. Daddy this, Daddy that. He's like, look, you have to stay upstairs and be quiet. And if you're quiet, then we can go cut the pumpkin in a scary face and the pumpkin
Jack-
a little bit later.
He says like if he can help him with the jack-o'-lantern because he has problems, he has trouble with the eye.
Yeah. And so he finally gets the kid to be quiet so he can finish doing whatever he's doing with the body. We see him kind of raise the shovel above his head to hit the body one last time, and that's the last thing we see from the yard. Now, we don't really know what he did there, but we're about to find out. So he comes back in the house and grabs up his kid and he's like, okay, let's go downstairs and carve the jack-o'-lantern. The kid's like, okay. This guy is creepy, and I was like really hoping the first time I saw this that he wasn't going to kill this little kid, because that's what it looks like is going to happen. He grabs a knife from the butcher board upstairs, like a butcher knife,
Yeah.
and kind of tucks it behind his back for some reason. I don't know why, but it's to make us believe that he's going to hurt the kid, right?
Yeah.
So he tucks the butcher knife behind his back and walks the kid downstairs into the basement. When they get to the basement, we're made to believe that they're standing in front of a pumpkin that they're going to carve. But we also see that the knife is behind his back and he slowly pulls it out and he looks like he's about to stab the kid. And I was like, please don't do it. Like my little horror heart was bumping. I was like, please
Yeah.
don't stab the kid. But he doesn't. He takes the knife and he stabs it into the table in front of him. You don't see what's on the table, but he stabs it in the table in front of him, gives his kid a big hug, and says, hey, so how should we carve this one this time? Camera spins around to what's on the table, and it's actually the head of the kid that he just killed and was burying the body in the backyard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Very well done. Like you said, there's no CGI in this movie. It's all like practical effects. This head looks really real.
Yeah, it does.
This head looks really real. And it's a good scene. So I guess this guy every year finds someone to kill, cuts their head off, and then carves their head up with his son. That's what we're supposed to deduct from this, which is creepy as shit.
It is totally
Creepy as shit.
obviously that like a new serial killer in the making. Yeah, because he's obviously teaching his son these same things. Shortly before that, the son asks, "Oh, can I go with you to the parade later?" And then Steve, looks at his son and says, "No, because Daddy has a date." This, in the beginning, appears to be something that goes nowhere, because after the scene with Steve and his kid, you basically for a very long time are not going to see Steve anymore. I'm not entirely sure how it continues, but it'll come back later.
No, I know how it continues.
Yeah, okay.
So the next scene we get is the one where the kids, I don't really know what to call these kids, but we need kind of a short name for them because they these are the kids that go to the quarry.
The
right?
ascats.
But the quarry kids, how about that? The quarry kids are still trick-or-treating around, going house to house to pick up candy.
Yeah.
They stop at this one house, and this is the house of the swinger lady, which I'm not really sure if this would happen. I don't know too many adults that like. I don't know many swingers.
No.
I don't know many swingers, right? But go ahead.
No. I mean, the thing is, I've met people like this, swingers or whatever, and I'm going to be honest. If this was an actual swinger party on Halloween, they probably would have not opened the door for kids, because a lot of people have a lot of negative assumptions about these people, but these people clearly only do it when they're in closed doors or at specific swinger parties. Very often, a lot of these kinky people and swinger people, they have kids themselves, and they are all people that keep this stuff away from kids. They make sure that kids aren't in contact with it. What also is supposed to give the kind of comedic thing, but for one thing, what makes this kind of a little bit, they just did this because they wanted to put something shocking, I think, into the movie.
Yeah.
Because these people would have probably taken this somewhere else, or they would have just not been opening the door because everybody in this house would probably be screwing their brains out.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, but this would not happen. Let's put it that way. And if it would happen, then these people probably need to be arrested and turned in by their neighbors, because this woman shows up to the door. She's not like a young woman either. She's kind of, I'd say probably in like her early 50s, scantily dressed, and behind her in the background in probably the living room of the house, there's a swinger party happening. You don't really see anything. You just hear noises and you kind of see some people in costume moving around, but the kids that are at the front door are getting a full view of what's going on in the back of the house. And so and not only that, but she's also weird. Like she starts showing off her body to the kids and stuff. I'm like, no,
not a great
whatever.
scene,
No. And so these kids are obviously like completely weirded out by this. They're really not interested in like the candy she has or anything she has to say, but whatever. She gives him candy. She's obviously a little drunk too. She gives him candy and then they fuck off. But other than that, I'm not really sure what this scene was for, other than a little bit of shock value.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
Yeah. It is funny.
So they leave that house and they're going to meet up with a friend, right? And so this friend, I'm not really sure what his name is because they don't say it, but it's another guy that's in addition to their crew.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he's been
exactly.
walking around gathering pumpkins in a shopping cart, right? We don't know why yet. But the girl that's in charge of this little group, who's got an idea of what she wants to do tonight, has been telling this guy to go around with a shopping cart and gather pumpkins, a certain amount of pumpkins. And so he's been doing that. They meet up with him and he brings the cart full of pumpkins and they stop at one more house. And this is the house of the girl that you like, your favorite character in the movie. So go ahead and tell us about her.
No, she has like, I don't know, like it feels like 1,000 jack-lanterns she done. No, one look awesome by the
That's
way.
cool. Yeah.
It's really awesome how she carved these jack-lanterns. No, she comes out, basically says hi. One of the kids says like, "Oh, isn't that weird girl or whatever?" And yeah, she walks up to him. Hi, I'm Rhonda. What I just like about her, she's just absolutely cute, just like Steve's kid. That, by the way, you don't know that when you first see him that he's a psychopath. She's just this cute little awkward girl. I don't know, I just like her. Yeah.
She reminds me a little bit of like, I don't know why I thought of this and it's kind of stupid, but she kind of reminds me of Moaning Myrtle a little bit from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the look she has.
Yeah.
She's got kind of the long brown hair.
Yeah.
And these glasses that look really awkward on her. She's kind of shy. Cool character. We'll get more of her later. So once we've met her, the next scene is we flash back to the town that's got the most incredible fucking Halloween party that's ever happened in America is happening in this small town in Ohio.
Yeah.
And we get a guy who is in a cloak, a black cloak, and he's got a black mask. And the mask that he's wearing is kind of reminiscent of Victorian era, probably Italy, I would say, in terms of like carnival. It's like a carnival mask, but it covers everything except for his nose and his mouth. So we have no idea who this guy is, but he's kind of making out with this one girl in the crowd. And then he takes her back to a back alley and they continue to make out. Well, while they're making out, she notices that now she has blood running down her neck and it's running down her arms. And she kind of pushes him away and looks at herself and realizes she's covered in blood. And we see this guy's face, and all we see is the mask in his mouth, and he's got these vampire teeth, right?
Yeah.
So we're to assume this guy is a vampire, an actual vampire, and he's preying on people in the crowd, right?
Yeah.
So she kind of gets away from him and runs to the center of the crowd where the town and everybody's partying. And she's standing there with all this blood on her, hoping that somebody's going to help her. But when she looks around, she realizes that there's other people in the crowd that look just like her.
Yeah, no.
Covered in blood, have fake cuts on them and stuff. So nobody thinks that this is weird. And of course, this enables this guy to catch back up with her, take her, we assume, finish draining all of her blood, and then leaves her in a corner, which is what he does. He just leaves this body propped up against the wall like she's drunk next to a couple other couples that are sitting there drinking. So that's how this guy is getting away with what he does. We still have no idea who this guy is, but we are to assume that he's a vampire, right?
Yeah.
We'll see this guy later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next scene is we cut forward to what the quarry group of kids are doing. And this is probably, I would say, the central plot to this film, just because we see so much of this, probably more than we do any other scene of anything else going on. And what it is
the werewolf scene,
this and the werewolf. So these kids are walking to this quarry, and that's kind of all we get. The lead girl who's in charge, the blonde, is kind of explaining what's going on and why they're going there. And that's where we get this entire story about the school bus, right? And the school bus thing, there was a tragedy. I don't remember when they say it happened. I think it was like is it the 50s?
I'm not even sure if they mentioned when it happened. Just that it's an old legend.
I'm assuming it's like 50s just because of the way everything looks. But the flashback is you get a school bus that's full of kids in Halloween costumes.
Mm.
And they don't look unhappy, but you can't tell because they have masks on. So you can't really see their faces. But they're all riding in a school bus. The bus driver is driving, and she says instead of taking them to school, which is what the bus driver was going to do, he turned off and drove directly to the quarry. So you see him drive off through this fence that's locked up, just drives the school bus straight through it, and then to the front of this cliff that empties into a quarry and kind of stops there. When he stops there, he gets up from his seat, grabs a bucket of candy, and walks around to each kid and kind of puts candy in their Halloween baskets. But as he does this, he's also checking chains that they're hooked up to, and their arms are
Yeah.
like restricted to where they can't move, right? So he's checking chains and locks to make sure the kids can't move. These Halloween costumes, Mike, there's a lot of thought that went into this movie. I just want to like
Yeah.
throw this out there.
Yeah.
These Halloween costumes that you see these kids wearing were the ones that kids wore back then.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back and look at black and white photos of Halloween back in the 40s and 50s, these are the costumes that the kids wore. So it's period accurate, too. He starts putting candy in their baskets. The one kid that is playing Dracula, which this is the goofiest fucking Dracula costume I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like Dracula's face that cuts off right here at the nose. And at the nose, there's like two gigantic teeth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess
it's
that's
a kid's
supposed to be
Halloween
Dracula.
costume, man. Obviously, it looks goofy. No, I mean,
Yeah. Anyway, so he checks all the chains and makes sure they're secure. We also get our next look at Sam, right? So Sam was around at this time too, because the bus drives by a cemetery and you see Sam kind of standing out in front of it, poking a dead crow. Like there's a dead crow on the side of the road and he's
Yeah.
poking it with a stick. And they drive by him. So he checks all the chains on the kids. He gives them Halloween candy, and the little kid who is Dracula starts to loosen himself from his bindings, right?
Yeah.
So they've got these leather handcuffs on, and they're kind of stretchy enough for him to get his hands out of them. So he kind of wiggles out of
Yeah.
the handcuffs and runs to the front of the bus and jumps in the driver's seat. Now, the bus driver doesn't know this because he's still kind of in the back checking all of these kids' bindings to make sure they're not going to get out of their seats. This kid, as Dracula, gets in the front seat, starts the bus again, puts it into gear, and because he's a kid, he doesn't know how to drive a bus. He doesn't know, that you have to go back to reverse or any of that stuff because this is a normal standard bus. So he puts it in
Yeah.
first gear, thinking that he's got it in reverse. Of course, he's also freaked out, and then floors it. When he floors it, the bus, of course, careens off the edge and into the ravine. Pretty dramatic scene because this bus is just full of kids, dude. It's just kids.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we don't know what's at the bottom of this ravine yet. We think it
But-
may just
but
be
what-
dry.
But what makes it
Go ahead.
worse? What makes it worse, Matt, is these are all kids that have some kind of mental health issues. What makes
I did
this
not
scene-
get that. I did
did
not
not
get
get-
that.
You did not get that?
No, I didn't get that.
It was said multiple ways that these kids were troubled, whatever. That because the leader girl of the choreo group, she explains that they were challenged and whatever and blah blah blah. Something going on, and you could see how the kids were sitting there, that they were hanged up there, that there was something off with these kids, and you could clearly see once the bus driver drove the wrong way, Dracula kid was like wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. So these were clearly
Okay.
kids
Yeah, I
that
should have
had
got that. I didn't get.
had some kind of mental health issues, all of them. Various reasons can happen to that. But that in itself makes it really bad.
That makes it worse. You're
Yeah,
right. That makes it worse.
This is pretty very hard scene to watch. Yeah.
It also kind of explains the bus driver's motivation too, because I was wondering if the guy was just a complete psycho and that's why he did this. Well, you'd have to be a
Yeah.
psycho either way to do this, but he obviously thought that, these kids, they were so messed up that he should probably just off them. And that's what he did. So that's
Yeah.
really fucked up. Anyway, when the bus careens off the side and lands, we kind of get a scene where the camera goes off the side of the cliff and looks down.
Mhm.
And you're watching this bus kind of disappear into really deep water, right?
Yeah.
And as the bus kind of sinks, the Halloween masks from the kids are floating up to the surface, right? Bus driver escapes, clings to the side of the quarry, and walks up. I don't know if you noticed, but as he's grabbing onto the side, of the wall to get out of there as the bus is sinking. You hear kind of sounds of children laughing, like giggling,
Yeah,
which is kind of a
Sam. Sam's
that's Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Sam. And so we'll find out later kind of about what Sam is, but this is kind of where the point in the movie where I was like, okay, so I've seen this guy now twice. I've seen him in modern times with what's going on right now with the story,
Yeah.
and I see him here. So he's some kind of spirit. He has to be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So probably like a tragedy spirit or something like that is what I assumed at first, but we'll kind of get into what he is later. But you see him in every scene, and sometimes you see him when you don't realize you saw him. Like he's in the back of scenes sometimes, and you would never notice unless you
Yeah.
really, really paid attention. But in
Exactly,
every scene in this movie, he's in it when tragedy strikes. So once they're done telling the story about the bus driver, we flash back to these kids that are at the quarry. We still don't know what they're doing there. There's kind of an elevator type lift that starts at the top of the quarry and goes to the bottom of the quarry. She tells the main girl in charge, the blonde, tells the girl with glasses and the youngest kid, which he's the one dressed as a pirate. She says, okay, you guys stay up here. We're going to go down there and do our thing and we'll be back. Here's the keys to the elevator, right? And so we see the kids go down in the elevator and the other two are left at the top. And that's where this scene cuts and we're back to the city again, right? So we'll get back to that later. So we're back in the city. Anna Paquin's character, dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, is walking around by herself. She's no longer
Yeah.
with her friends, and we don't know why yet, right?
Yeah. No, because
But she's just kind of walking through town.
no, it's already
Go
been
ahead.
stated because her friends and her older sister already found the guys, that they wanted to hug. At this point, you believe that they wanted to hook
Right.
up with. Huh? And then they take off. And then her older sister says, yeah, just meet us then and there. Nah. Because her older sister, I think, kind of realized that she just is not really comfortable in the situation and maybe she'll figure things out, on her own. No. That's
Yeah.
kind of why
She's hoping she'll get a date before the end of the night and then show
Yeah,
up at the party that they're
yeah.
at. Her Little Red Riding Hood, I'm going to call her, goes and sits on a park bench. Obviously doesn't have a guy yet. Gets a call on her phone and it's her older
Yeah.
sister. Her older sister's at a party that's out in the woods somewhere. By the way, this party looks cool as hell too.
It does.
I
it
would
does,
say
yeah,
that I'd like to be there, but I'm kind of glad that I wasn't because things go south very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, first you see this is like because it's a super cool Halloween party with a lot of music,
Yeah.
people are having fun. Way more girls than guys are there. So
Yes. Perfect situation. There's also a
obviously,
bunch of
okay,
weirdos at this
interesting.
party, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's also a bunch of weirdos at this party. And so her sister tells her over the phone, she's like, well, look, if you hadn't found the guy yet, I have one here and he's really interested in meeting you. And so, like, behind her, you see the guy that she wants to introduce her sister to, and it's this kind of big chubby guy in a baby costume.
Yeah.
Like, I think at this point they're just trying to find anybody because we don't know what's going to happen yet, but it
Yeah.
seems very off. Like, why would you hook your sister up with that guy? But whatever.
Yeah.
This is where, while she's on the phone, she looks forward into the crowd and sees the vampire guy again, right? And he's just staring her down. She seems a little creeped out by this, but we don't get to find out what happens because it cuts here and goes back to the kids at the so at the quarry. What's happened now is most the other kids have gone down and they haven't come back up yet. So that leaves her, the witch girl, the one that you think is adorable, her and the little kid standing up at the top wondering what's happening. So she's like, we should probably go down there and figure out what's taking so long and see if they're okay. The little kid that's with her is like, nope. He's not going down in this fucking thing.
No.
She's like,
yeah, that's funny.
yeah, nope. I mean, dude, if I was that age, I'd be like, nope, I'm not fucking going down there. Are you insane?
Yeah.
No. So she's like, fine, I'll go down by myself. And I think she does go down by herself, right? She doesn't take him with her. She leaves him up there.
Yeah,
right?
he goes down with her. He goes down with her because the first three kids go down, then they're gone for a few minutes. Then the witch kid, Rhonda, and the chubby kid go down. Then she goes out.
Okay.
And chubby kid is scared to death, and she just leaves the lanterns on. They'll protect you, and then she goes out to look for the others. Rhonda goes down and walks towards the lake, where you can see the bus that hit there a few decades back is now hanging out of the water, and you can still see the masks laying around. Well, at this point or whatsoever, kind of gives you the hint that there's something supernatural going on here. However, when Rhonda approaches, one of the jack-lanterns, a figure comes out, like what she appears to be a zombie, and goes after her. She screams and starts running. Now she runs back towards the elevator, and then she sees the chubby kid being eaten by a zombie. So then she runs. While away, she falls on the floor, loses her glasses, and then gets up and keeps on running, clearly knowing that she's blind. Now, so at this point, she probably can't see much either. So then she has like these few zombies chasing her until she literally falls onto the floor and is panicked. She is super fucking panicked to the point she's so scared out of her mind that this is like pretty fucking bad. And then at this point, they stop. Now they take off their masks. They were the other kids. You had like the one older kid was at this point the only was like, hey, we should stop. He took off their mask and told her, hey, it's just a prank, because they were just wanting to pull a prank off of her. And this is also like the one kid and the chubby kid, the two guys, they realized at this point that they went too far, because he took off his mask, the tallest kid, and he tried to calm down, and it was just a joke. Everything's okay. And she was crying, literally, really brutally crying. Of course, she laid her head on his shoulder, but he was trying, just being a nice guy. It was a bad joke. He admitted it. Yeah, we fucked up. I'm sorry. But this is what it was like the other two girls. They're like, God, this is a super fucking bitch. She was like, oh, come on, stop crying, you fucking wuss. And then it's like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be
She's
honest.
Awful.
This is what instantly, I found this girl unsympathetic straight up to begin with. But at this point, it's like the other three kids. I was like, fuck them. Because this is like, if you do something like this and you have this reaction to somebody having that of an extreme emotional reaction to something that you just did to that person, even though it was a prank, you're a piece of shit. That's how I see it. I don't care if she's a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing,
I mean, this is kind of the thing that you and I deal with all the time up at Castle Frankenstein, right? The years that we've been doing this.
Yes.
There are some people that no matter what you do, they will freak out. And I'm not saying you shouldn't go to, like a haunted attraction if you have those issues, because maybe you're trying to deal with it. But some people just completely freak out. They hyperventilate, they piss themselves, they fall on the ground. And there is a point where you have to stop and be like, hey, everything's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. This is all just for fun, right? This girl doesn't have that. She's like, fuck her.
Yeah.
We wanted to scare her. She needs to quit crying, right? So, I didn't like this character at all either. Fucking dumb bitch.
No, it's not that easy. If you have somebody freak out that badly, that's like, they can't just stop. It's going to take like multiple hours for them to gather themselves. And that state of fear, that state of being shocked, that can also have serious traumatic effects and can really seriously hurt somebody physically. Like they have actual physical body issues. I deal with it often. I mean, at Halloween, there's some nights where that happens to multiple people. I've had that like in extreme situations where it's like 10 to 20 people. And I wouldn't say like that I feel bad about it. I mean, of course,
no, that's our
job for that person. But what you do is, it's my job. I'm an actor there, and it's my job to do these things. And the people pay there. It's for fun. They pay for entry. So, but even that is just like when you have people in that situation, you have to back off and get them help. What we usually do is we call the security, and there are ambulance people there for the situation if that happens to somebody. Mm-hmm. And if you're like in that same costume, you pull these pranks off with these people. There's nothing that you are going to do that is going to help them, because you standing in front of them the way you're looking now is just going to make it worse and worse and worse and worse. The longer you're around that person,
you just got to go away. You got to go away.
Just fuck off. Call the security. I mean, they're not this kind of a situation. That's how we handle it at Halloween,
Yeah.
But even if this was just a prank, it's pretty sick, in my opinion, to pull off a prank like this with your friends. Specifically, if you know that she's probably a little bit social awkward and has some kind of fear issues. And I'm going to assume they knew this about her. And
Yeah.
so even the
I'm sure they did. That's why they did it.
idea itself is pretty sadistic in my opinion. But even after that, like the one guy is like, he's really trying to calm her down and does it to a certain degree. And then the others just fuck off and he like stays there with her together so she's not alone because she's super freaked out. Then the other three kids go back to collect their stuff again. And then the other kid is like, yeah, why is the bus still here? And blah, blah, blah. If that was just a legend.
Mhm.
And the other girl's like, yeah, well, because that part is true. And then they start have a conversation until they start hearing kids giggling in the background. So what happens now is like karma's a bitch. Now this is an entirely over message you can take out throughout the entire movie because now the original 8 kids that were drowned by this driver, they come back as zombies and start attacking these kids.
Yes.
Exactly. So then it cuts back to Rhonda and the older kid, and he hears that and takes off to look after what's happening. Then they come up totally panicked. Oh, we gotta run away. And then he realizes that they're actually these 8 zombie kids after them. Oh, so then they take off, run towards the elevator. They run towards the elevator, and Rhonda is sitting in the elevator, is still super freaked out about what's happening. And they're like, open the door, please open the door. And you see the other zombie kids coming after and following them. Rhonda picks up the key. It appears like she's going to open up the door, but then she just pushes the elevator door to go up.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is like, karma's a bitch. You guys are
as far as I'm concerned, they all had that coming.
They all had that coming. But it's not like you can't really put this on Rhonda because in her emotional state, she is probably convinced it's another prank from them. She's not taking any of it seriously.
Yeah, she's not taking it anymore. She's leaving. She's like, fuck this.
Yeah. Fuck you, assholes. Fuck this shit. I'm leaving. I'm going home. Because she's probably obviously just thinks it's a prank. The elevator goes up. She takes her wagon with her pumpkins, starts walking down the path. And then you see Sam again, just looking at her. They look at each other for a short glimpse, and then she keeps on walking. And then you see Sam walk toward the cliff and looking down on the shit show that's happening down.
Yeah. So this is where you start to get the idea that Sam is he may be the spirit of Halloween, but that's kind of what I get from this is that he's the spirit of Halloween, kind of like you said, but he's also the spirit of vengeance. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Halloween is about good fun. Yeah, it's about good fun. It's about good feelings. It's about being scared. But the minute that you mistreat someone or do something wrong, the karma's a bitch. And that's exactly what happens to these kids.
Yeah.
And that's why Sam's there. And you can assume that Sam is the one that made this happen. Right?
Probably.
I would assume that. Yeah.
That's what's the interesting thing about Sam is I always saw him as like the spirit of Halloween. And like he's probably some kind of supernatural spirit, spirit of Halloween, as I said, and just this, kind of kid-like figure he's appearing as is somehow his manifestation. And a lot of these things happening, he's making them happen. Or is some kind of using his power to somehow gather these creatures together. Because what makes it very interesting, you will come back towards the end. Everybody being killed in this movie is a person that has either disrespected the spirit of Halloween or has done evil shit one way or another. Those are the people that get off in this movie.
Yeah.
If you look at the movie from all perspective, this movie, the main message I took away from this movie was, karma's a bitch. Whatever, if you ever do evil things to people, at one point or another, something similar as evil is going to happen to you. That's what I took away from this movie at the end.
That's basically what this is. And we get it again in this next scene. And I think this scene for me, Mike, is my favorite part of the movie. Always was. Like, and there's multiple reasons for that. It's not just because I'm a fan of the monster, but it's also because of how well this is turned around, right?
Yeah.
It's so great. This is genius. So what we get is Anna Paquin's character as Little Red Riding Hood is now walking through the woods to go meet up with her sisters that are at this party. Still hasn't met a guy.
Yeah.
But whatever. She's walking through the woods. And of course, the guy in the mask that is killing women at this Halloween festival is following her. Right?
Yeah.
And so he creeps up behind her and grabs her and throws her against the tree and bites her neck and is basically taunting her the whole time. We already know that this guy is probably going to kill her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's got her up against the tree. He's biting her neck. She's bleeding. She's screaming really loud, loud enough for her sisters that are at the party to hear her scream loudly. And so they kind of stop partying and they're like, "Did you hear that?" Right? So we think that this guy has killed her, right? That's what we're led to believe, right? And as they're standing there wondering what this scream was, we see her fucking costume, the Little Red Riding Hood, the whole costume, fall down from the top of a tree, all wrapped up and hit the ground really hard. Of course, the sisters that are standing there automatically think that's her body. So they're like, "What the fuck?" And they walk over to the costume and they start to pull off back the hood. And you realize it's the vampire guy.
Yeah.
He's laying there
because
scared out of his fucking mind, dude. This guy is scared to death.
Yeah, because you still think the way the story is set up with his character that he's a vampire. And he attacked her and drank werewolf blood. And in a lot of stories, werewolf blood is poisonous to vampires.
Yes.
So when I
Yes.
saw it the first time, I thought like this was kind of a situation that was going on. He's a vampire that realized it's full moon and he's surrounded by werewolves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But that's not actually the case.
So, yeah. The other thing here too that they've done that I think is genius, right? So you're led to believe a few things. Like I was not, there was nothing that hinted to me immediately that these were werewolves.
Yes.
So what I thought was that this guy bit a woman who was a vampire and he's not an actual vampire, and she flipped it around on him and bit him. And I think this is what the audience are supposed to believe, is that these girls are vampires, right?
Exactly. They're vampires.
So when he lands and he's laying there in her costume, he's like, help me, like scared to death. They're like, "Aw," and they reach in and one of the girls pulls out his teeth, like the fake teeth that he's wearing. And she's like, "Oh, great job. Good job. This is really believable,"
This
you know,
looks
and like
good,
throws the teeth to the side. And this is where you see the same teeth start to protrude from these girls. Like they're growing teeth as well. Automatically, I was like, "Fuck, these are vampires. Holy crap, that's cool." Turns out that's not what they are.
Yeah.
But you're led to believe that.
But what also is funny, Anna Paquin sits on top of vampire guy and pulls off his mask. And that's now it's revealed is Steve Wilkins. Yeah. That was running around killing.
It is the father from the first scene, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
But like one was like, this is he wearing okay, the sicko is getting what's coming to him.
Yeah.
And this is where, like you said, like, because they already started to portray fangs, even Anna Paquin's now started portraying fangs, where you think they're vampires, no?
Right.
And this is where then you hear Marilyn Manson music starting. I mean, I think it's not Tainted. What's his version of Tainted Love? I think that's playing at this part, no? Because
it's not Tainted Love. It's sweet things. Sweet things are made of these. Sweet things.
Yes,
it's the old Annie Lennox
exactly. Things are made of these. Exactly. Exactly. And this is like brilliant because you see like them having like this ritual dance starting with the music in the background. First, you see them having fangs or eyes, and this is where you kind of click in they're probably not vampires, because this is where it clicks in that they're actually werewolves, because brilliant werewolf scene.
And they start ripping off their fucking skin. This transformation is sick, dude.
Sick, dude. You see like one of them from scratching with their nails over the back of the other and ripping the skin off, and you see like werewolf skin coming out and whatever. It's like this is like this rarely see these kind of werewolf transformations throughout. You see like them ripping off their skin from their legs, from their arms, and everything. Brilliant. This scene is, when it comes to
it's very well done.
It's brilliant. It would have been interesting to have only a movie surrounding this werewolf pack. That would have been interesting.
Oh, dude, I'd go see it in a heartbeat.
Yes,
I'd go see it in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Not only that, Mike, but the werewolves as well.
Yep.
The werewolves look really fucking good. I don't think we get like a full body look.
Yeah.
But we do get head, shoulders, and a back, right?
Yeah.
as these things are tearing into the victims at this party. And these things look fucking awesome. They look fucking awesome.
They do. They look great.
And it's all practical effects too. All practical effects. So note to movie makers, like do it this way, please. Like do it this way. Stay away from CGI. Keep the audience guessing. This whole scene right here was worth the movie for me. I love this part.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a big werewolf blood orgy at this point. Like they're just ripping into every victim at the party. There's blood everywhere. It's just a really fucking good scene. And so now you know what these girls were out to do. By the way, Anna Paquin's character mentions the fact why she's been so kind of closed up this whole time. She's like, well, sorry, she's talking to her victim, the father from the beginning of the movie before she kills him. She's like, sorry that I seemed a little off there for a little while, but you have to understand this is my first time. So this is her first time transforming into a werewolf and being able to do this with her sister. So it's just a really, really fucking cool scene, dude. Like total credit to the writing here. Brilliant stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Dad is now dead. Dad is now dead. He got what was coming to him. Next scene we get is the neighbor, Stephen Wilkins, like you said. So this guy is a shit character. I don't like him. I can't stand him, but it's also a credit to the actor. So Cox is awesome. And this is one of those movies he when he does a movie, he's done some like really low budget horror and he's done some really big movies. He was in The Ring. He's been in so many fucking movies, a lot of horror films. And you would think, because this is kind of your typical horror anthology style movie, that he really wouldn't act his ass off for this. Like any actor who's done that amount of movies would probably just phone it in, you know what I mean? And kind of just half-ass do it. No, this dude is a fucking incredible actor. I love this guy. Like every movement he makes, every scream he lets out, every bit of dialogue, everything is very believable. And I love watching this guy act. So it opens up on his house. He's got trick-or-treaters coming to his door. They're a bunch of clowns, which I think is great. So a bunch of clowns come to his door. They knock. The door opens kind of slowly, and you see like two beady, glowing eyes in the dark. Go ahead.
Thing I would like to mention. No? That I'm not sure if you got it. These clowns are the same kids that from the beginning, you know, the girl being killed, the wife.
Yeah.
These are the same clowns that walk upon her.
I didn't realize that. Okay. So these kids basically are just getting the shit scared out of them all night. That's
because you have like, just like you said, they have like these evil eyes appear about them and then it runs after them. Now they think they're being chased, but it's a small dog. The kids get scared and run out to the street. What? You don't realize, because the kids that come across the wife, you know, that gets killed by, I mean, at this point I can reveal it. It's Sam.
Yeah.
That these are the same kids. And this is there, like, we're getting into how the beginning and the end are basically the same scene, just from different perspectives.
Yes.
What makes it brilliant.
Yeah. It's brilliant writing, which it also explains, like, why these kids already look so fucked up by the time that they get to the house next door to trick or treat, because they were already scared to death by this guy's dog. And this is actually pretty smart. Like, he takes this little dog, which I think this is a beagle, and so too, it's just a tiny dog, but he like straps glowing eyes to it, so all the kids see are these glowing eyes and this really mean growl, and the dog takes off after him and they take off, and you realize it's just this little dog, which I think is smart. Pretty brilliant writing. So the dog comes back in with him, and you realize that he's watching TV, and he's watching some of the same commercials we saw on TV earlier, where the news reporter is giving reports from the streets out of the big party. He doesn't like it. He's not into Halloween. And by the way, he's also burning photographs, right?
Yeah.
This is a hint to something a little bit later. If you actually look at the photographs, you kind of see what's in them, but you don't really have time to look at them right now to see what's in there. But you do get to see one later that's burning. Yeah, there's a reason he's burning photographs. So he's watching TV. He's had enough of it. He's turned off the TV, and I think he gets up because he hears a sound or something like that.
His dog.
Do you remember?
He hears a sound, but from outside, kids laughing. So Sam, a giggling kid.
Right.
Then he goes
Okay.
outside to check on his dog. Now this is brilliant because this is now a scene from the beginning, when he has Steve Wilkins burying the body and his neighbor screaming at him. This is now where you're seeing that this is basically Steve Wilkins' neighbor. Because he goes out and you see him screaming at his dog, "Hey, are you done pooping yet?" Walking over, screaming at Steve, and then going back in his house. It's brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of come full circle. And it is brilliant because you see what the dog is chewing on when he's asking it if it's done taking a shit too. He's like, "You done taking a shit?" And the dog's like chewing on the finger of the kid that Steve threw over the fence too. So it's cool how they do this. Like, I would love to see more movies like this where they intertwine stories.
Yeah.
And this may be the first Halloween anthology movie to actually do it this way.
I think so.
Because from the other horror anthologies, I've never seen them tied together. Anyway, so he goes outside, gets the dog, tells Steve to fuck off, which is what we saw him do at the beginning of the movie, and he goes back inside. Now, this is where we get kind of first like an ego perspective of what Sam is seeing, because Sam is watching this whole thing. So you're seeing what Sam is seeing through the eyes of this burlap sack that he's looking through. What we don't realize when we saw this at the beginning of the film is that when he goes back inside, Sam already ran in his house. So Sam is in his house, right? And he doesn't know it. So he brings the dog back inside and he goes to hit that's right. He hears a knock at his front door, right? And he's like, "Fuck, more trick-or-treaters." And he's had it at this point. This guy's an asshole. He has a baseball bat in his hand, and I'm assuming he's going to go outside and threaten some kids for hitting on his door. But when he opens his door, he realizes now that the entire front of his yard is decorated with jack-o'-lanterns, right? So Sam has decorated his entire yard with jack-o'-lanterns. It's very Halloween-y looking, very cool. Like, I like the way the front of this yard looks. I wish Sam would come to my house and decorate. Like, I'd be fine with that. I'd pay him.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes outside and he realizes the pumpkins are there and he raises his bat to start smashing pumpkins because he doesn't like the decorations. And that's when he hears something in his house and it's his dog, right? So his dog has gone upstairs and you hear the dog whimper. I'm pretty sure the dog gets hurt here, but you don't see it.
You don't see it.
Right?
Yeah. You hear him whimper, so you can. Yeah.
Yeah, you can deduct that the dog probably got killed. He grabs a shotgun and is going to start heading up the stairs because obviously he thinks somebody's in his house. So he starts slowly walking up the stairs with his shotgun and into the bedroom where he heard the sound. And he sees that there's something in his bed that's moving. And he thinks that there's someone in his bed. So he gets there and he pulls back the sheet and he realizes that it's a Halloween hand. One of those like battery operated ones that you usually buy in like Walmart or something like that to put on your front porch. It's like a moving hand. And so he's like, "Okay, who's fucking with me? Somebody's here." And this is where you see Sam for the first time in his house. But I'm trying to remember exactly how he sees him.
Because he turns around and Sam stabs him with a knife in the leg.
Underneath the bed.
Yeah, underneath the bed. Cox falls down, screams bloody murder, and then Sam gets out from beneath the bed and looks at him and is doing his typical kid giggling stuff.
Yeah, which Sam the entire time just looks cute.
Yeah, he looks cute the whole time. But this is also something brilliant because before he gets stabbed, Cox looks up at the ceiling and you see all the way over everywhere the entire walls and ceiling was graffitied with "trick or treat." Basically, was there the whole time, or other Halloween.
Yeah,
other like certain.
Yeah, it's the rhyme. He wrote the rhyme over and over. Trick or treat, give me something good to eat. Yeah.
And brilliantly done, by the way. Then, of course, this is where the fight scene, starts between Sam and Cox. I'm going to call him Cox because that's what.
That's the actor's name. Yeah. I mean, this guy deserves to have his name called. He's awesome.
Yeah. And you see, like Sam just looking at him, tilting his head, doing his typical laugh. I'm not sure if the fight scene here already starts. Does it start where?
Yeah, it starts. He stabs him again. There's a jack-o'-lantern that's in his bedroom that's lit up with flames.
Yeah.
So it lights up with flames, and this is right after he's already stabbed him in the leg. And so he goes to shoot Sam with the shotgun, but as he does, Sam kind of disappears and he shoots the pumpkin instead.
Oh,
The
yeah, right. Yeah.
pumpkin explodes, and now Sam is nowhere to be seen in the bedroom. Like he's missing. He gets up and walks down the hallway trying to find Sam. And when he gets to the stairs, you hear him trip on something. So he slips on something on the stairs and rolls all the way down the stairs to the bottom. By the way, this guy is he's like in his early 70s and he does all his own stunts.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
This guy refuses to have a stunt double. Yeah, he refuses to have a stunt double. So this is actually him falling down the stairs. But what you realize is that what he slipped on is candy. So
Yeah.
Sam has just put like candy and little like balls of candy all over the stairs, all the way down the stairs. And then on top of that, he's powdered it with shards of glass. So when this guy falls down the stairs, he falls all the way down, and every stair he's hitting glass. And there's glass sticking out of his body and in his hands and all sorts of shit. So he gets to the bottom of the stairs. He realizes his hands are just covered in glass, and now he's covered in blood. And he's like, fuck, okay, I need to get out of the house. So he tries to go open the door, but the latches on the door, these are slide locks. They've been slid to the right and left to lock the door. And he can't get his hands on them because they're covered in glass. And every time he touches something, it stabs the glass deeper into his hand. So now he can't get out of his own house. So it's fucking genius scene, right?
Yeah.
So he can't get out of the house. So he realizes, fuck, okay, I have my shotgun still. So let me pick up the shotgun, picks up the shotgun. The whole time he's screaming while he has the shotgun because his hands are covered in glass. So every movement he makes to try to cock the shotgun and reload it, he's just screaming bloody murder. It's fucking great.
Sam jumps onto Cox from behind, and then they start fighting. He starts hitting him and slapping him or whatever. Cox manages to get Sam off of him, and he falls onto the floor. Then you see Cox slamming on his window to his neighbor, Wilkins, help me. This is a scene where you also see in the beginning.
Yeah, which is the scene from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. You see his neighbor, blah, 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 him. Then Stephen Wilkes says, yeah, fuck you, and goes into his house. And then you see what happens from the beginning of the scene. Sam attacks Cox. Then after a short fight scene that goes in between them two, he picks up his shotgun, shoots Sam, and Sam flies to the other side of the room and appears to be dead. But first, though, he shoots him in the arm where he loses one of his hands. Oh, and before that, too, in the fight scene, he rips open the bar sack that Sam has to reveal part of his mouth.
Yeah. And you realize now that this guy is not just a kid in a costume.
Also, he pulls off the ball sack, and you see like his face, what is similar to the character in Dark Harvest, I could say. You know, Sam.
Yeah, he is. He's like a little satanic jack-o'-lantern looking character, basically.
Yeah, exactly. However, then you see shortly Sam biting Cox in the neck until he pulls out his shotgun, shoots him, and he flies through the room. Yeah.
And we're kind of supposed to think he's dead. Like he's laying across the room with a giant hole in his head. The guy stands up, Cox stands up, walks over to him and shoots him a few more times, like in the chest, shoots him in the arm again, just basically shoots him a whole bunch of times. So this dude is dead, or at least that's what we're led to believe. And then he starts to walk away from Sam's dead body. And as he does, Sam's hand that's on the floor grabs a knife and stabs him in the foot.
Yeah. Again.
And so he falls over again. Sam is over in the corner, very much alive, and looks at his hand, and his hand crawls back over to him, and he reattaches his hand to his arm where it got blown off. He takes the sack that's on the ground and puts it back over his head, which this is kind of a cool costume too, because the mask is not completely whole anymore. It's got a big cut in it from like ear to ear.
Yeah.
So it looks like the normal Sam costume, except for here where his mouth is. So you get the sack head with these fucking gnarly teeth. It's just a cool look. Sam gets back up and starts walking over to him. Sam has a sucker in his hand, which is the same sucker we saw at the beginning of the movie that he killed the woman with, right?
Yeah.
But this time the sucker is whole. So it's a complete sucker. So as he's walking over to him, he takes a big bite out of the sucker, which makes these big jagged marks in it. Walks over to him, raises it above his head, and stabs him, or at least we think he stabs him, but he doesn't. He actually stabbed a candy bar that was stuck to the guy's chest.
Yeah.
And Cox thinks he's dead. Like, he's sitting there like this, and then he opens his eyes and realizes he's not dead. Sam is standing above him with the sucker that he took the bite out of with the candy bar stuck to it, takes a bite out of the candy bar, turns around, and walks out of the house. Doesn't bother killing the guy. We don't really know why yet, but Sam just leaves him and doesn't kill him. And it's because this was kind of a warning, basically.
Sam leaves the house, and then you see then you see the fireplace, the pictures he was burning. One picture was left, and it was a picture of the 8 kids and the bus driver that he was burning. You see that the bus driver is the same guy as this old man, just a little bit more cleaned up and a little bit younger. So this Cox guy is the bus driver that killed all of these 8 kids.
Yes, which is why he got a visit from Sam. And this is the part that I did not catch the last few times that I watched it.
Yeah, but this also reveals why Sam put the jack-lanterns in front of his door. It's going to come later, not because then it cuts to this scene now where you have another kid's trick-or-treating. He opens up the door and you see him bandage himself or whatever.
Yeah.
He very nicely gives the kids candies or whatever because he's understood now he has to follow the Halloween spirit or he's going to get killed.
Right.
And the kid says, "Oh, hey, Mr. Cox, great mummy costume." Then he closes the door. No, not shortly.
Yeah.
He steps out and looks over the neighborhood, looks at Steve Wilkins' son giving other people stuff. The couple from the beginning now coming home from the party because you know at what part we are now. Then you see on the sidewalk in front of his porch, in front of his front door, Sam just standing looking at him. Doing nothing, just stand there looking at him and nodding. He looks at Sam, nods, and goes back in the house. Now closes the door. Brilliant scene because now you see for a short second the exact same scene from the beginning. Sam turning around, looking at the couple, having the discussion from the beginning, her turning out the jack-lantern, looks at his sucker that he bit off, and walks towards their house.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just
which we know exactly what he's going to do because we saw it at the beginning of the film. It just ties everything together really brilliantly.
Yeah, which is actually...
But that's
it's
not,
a brilliant
that's
way
not
because it
either.
interconnects everything. Yeah. And however, this is brilliant because you have like Cox now back in his house until he gets another knock. Until it knocks again. He opens up the door and now these zombie kids are back. Just staring at him and you see the Dracula kid looking at him like trick or treat. And then they attack him.
And then they attack him and that's the end of the film. It's
that's
fucking brilliant.
And it's brilliant. It's brilliant because this is like the ultimate karma's a bitch. And it's like, that's why.
Yes.
What makes this movie brilliant is just how this movie specifically has so much different storylines that interconnect very fluently to the point that it's very easy to follow all of these plot lines and all of these countless characters in the movie and how every single one of these horror stories and every single one of these kills always has the overarching message of karma's a bitch. That's what I think personally makes this movie brilliant.
Yeah. Basically, just don't be an asshole. That's all it is. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
don't be an asshole. And respect the Halloween spirit.
Respect Halloween spirit and don't be a cunt. That is literally the message of this movie. It's brilliant. Just like you said, it is absolutely a horror masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yeah. And this is one that if you're looking for one, I mean, if you have kids, I wouldn't watch this with kids. But if you are looking for a Halloween anthology to watch every Halloween, this would be your movie. Like, this is it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this film. If you are a very diehard horror fan, there's stuff in this movie that you'll love. I mean, it's a movie for pretty much everybody. And it's really well done. And Mike, that begs the question, why did this thing not get a part 2? And why have we not seen more of Sam? Because that seems like a moneymaker, dude.
I know.
Like,
I don't know. I really can't
what the
tell you.
fuck?
I would have to look it up. I don't know. But funny thing, now that a lot of people might not know, now after almost 20 years, Trick or Treat is coming back in theaters. Now, from the point this video is probably going to go online tomorrow. because it's going up 14th of October. It's going to be running back in movie theaters. So
Okay,
maybe
so go see it.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have the question: why did we not see more of Sam or Peeping Tom? How he's described in other countries outside of the U.S. I do not know.
Yeah.
Because the movie apparently, I'm not sure how much it made, but it was relatively successful for a horror movie.
It did well.
And
It did well. I
yeah, it
remember
did
reading
well.
that.
It's just like crazy. Why nothing? It's just like with Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The movie did awesome at the box office, but they never really made a sequel from it. Could it be something similar here? But the fact that this movie now, during Halloween time, is coming out in the theaters again, that might hint towards something. Because even though this is the best Halloween themed horror movie, I do think that could have some kind of meaning. That's like there's going to be something coming in future.
I would hope so. I would hope so. Because it seems like a lot of horror movies that were maybe a little bit mediocre or just were not as good get sequels all the time. And then you get stuff like this that, for me, this is now a staple. And I think with the horror community in general, or just people who love Halloween, this movie is a staple. Everybody knows it. So to not see it get a sequel, to not see it get like some type of other treatment is kind of sad. So I really do hope that happens. And now that I know it's in theaters, I'm going to take Chrissy to go see it because she didn't get to watch it with me today. And I'd love to see this one in the theaters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But so if you're looking for a movie for Halloween, go watch this one. And then also watch the podcast because the next episode, I believe, is the Halloween episode, correct?
Exactly. Next episode is Halloween episode. Yeah.
And me and Mike are going to do something a little special for that one. We're not going to give away what it is we're going to do, but it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. So make sure you watch that episode. Yeah. You got anything else you want to say about this movie?
So far, no, man. No, so far I don't have anything to say. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So stick around for the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Happy Halloween. The day's coming. We'll see you next time. I'm Matt.
I'm Mike. Bye.
Bye.
The blackest eyes, the darkest eyes. Innocently